Welcome to Gaijin Stories Japan. I'm Ethan.
And this is Chris here.
And so last time we talked about travel, and we're going to kind of tie that in a little bit, but we are going to talk about just learning Japanese.
Because, you can, sure, there's tons of YouTube videos out there and podcasts that tell you, you don't really need Japanese to travel, especially in Tokyo. But since we are living in Fukuoka, I can tell you, if you don't have Japanese, it's kind of tough. So yes.
Yeah. So first phrase is when you're traveling, what's the most important thing that you need to use?
You definitely need a toilet, right?
Yeah. Toilet. And that's probably the one thing that Google Maps does not show.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they show ATMs, but they don't even okay, if it's a public toilet in a park, sometimes they might show in the middle of nowhere, but generally no. Yes.
So you have to ask.
Yep.
If you can't find the sign, you have to ask.
So what do you say?
So the best way to say is toire wa doko desu ka?
Yeah, toilet as in literally toilet, but they kind of change it to the Japanese pronunciation.
Yeah, sounds also French. Maybe.
So toilet, right? Toire wa doko desu ka?
Yep. That will save you a lot of time of trying to Google Translate and things, and you can.
To be honest, sometimes if you just keep telling them toilets, they kind of understand anyway because it sounds really similar, right? Yeah. But to be more polite, and that's why we added the desu ka. The desu is kind of like a polite form of speech. So toire wa doko desu ka, right? So first pronounce.
So second, really, really useful phrase is daijoubu desu.
It's okay. Daijoubu desu.
It's like when you want to refuse something, like do you want a bag? You can say daijoubu desu. Or if somebody asks, are you okay? It's also daijoubu desu.
Anyway, this phrase, right, is kind of dangerous to teach because it's used in such a wide variety of situations that sometimes if you don't show the correct gestures, it's kind of misleading.
So right? I'd say for traveling, the best phrase is just like this gesture, like no.
Yeah, no thanks. Daijoubu desu. You can
like
do
when
this.
You want to say no thanks, you can say daijoubu desu. Yeah, because it's like if they want to give you, they want to say it's 5 yen for a bag and you don't want a bag, you can say just daijoubu desu.
Exactly. You hear that often. So the thing is, they will ask you, like, for example, fukubukuro, Yeah. Fukubukuro, irimasu ka? Or how do they say the keigo? What's the binir bukuro is the plastic bag. Okay.
Bukuro ga irimasu ka?
Oh, binir bukuro ga irimasu ka? So do you need a bag? Sometimes they say that, sometimes they don't. So it kind of depends on the shop, especially they use honorific. But it kind of can tell they will kind of wave a bag at you. So you can just think daijoubu desu.
Or if they ask, do you have a point card?
Oh, yeah. They would ask.
And you'll know because they're pointing to a picture of a card usually often. So you just say, daijoubu desu.
So daijoubu desu, very daijoubu desu. Very versatile phrase, definitely.
Yeah, but like for travel, you just need to worry about it as saying no thanks to things. It's very useful when you don't want to buy something.
I think so too. Yeah, because typically I will, strangely, right? I will use it's okay for refusal situations.
That's how it works in Japanese.
Yeah, so strangely. They don't say iye because if you read some textbooks, there's a no, right? Iye, or I think very seldom you hear people say that. Seriously.
Yeah.
So if you say, for example, irimasu ka? Then you say iye, it sounds strange. I mean, if you're a foreigner, they'll kind of forgive you, but hey, why don't you use daijoubu desu?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most useful phrases, I think.
And then the next one, let's say something that I hear, I wouldn't say it's cringy, but it makes me kind of like, it gives me a mini shock each time I hear it. Let's say it's arigato, right? So arigato is like a thanks, but we either don't say it altogether or you say the whole thing because the whole thing is a polite version. So arigato gozaimasu, right? So a lot of people tend to just cut the gozaimasu because it's troublesome. Yes.
Maybe you can say with friends, arigato is okay.
Yeah.
With friends, but definitely if it's to strangers, it's better with arigato gozaimasu.
Especially if you're traveling in the countryside and typically the shop owners are, old people, right? They will forgive you, but it's weird if you just tell them arigato.
And, it makes a more welcoming atmosphere for yourself too, because oh, they respect me.
Exactly. Trust me, in Japan, they will mind that you are using Japanese and you make an effort to use it. They will treat you better. Trust me. Actually, it's the same everywhere.
Yes. Even if you're that's all you know, that's okay.
Yeah.
They'll be happy.
Yeah, at least you tried. Yes, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh,
Kore.
yes.
So we have kore, sore, and are. Basically, that's this, that, and that over there.
Okay, well, slowly. This is kore. That is sore, and are is way over there. Are
I think most important is kore.
Yeah, I think so too.
You don't need to worry about the other ones that much. So in Japan, restaurant menus have pictures.
Yeah, typically
they have pictures. So you can just point to the picture and say kore
kudasai.
If you can't, it's okay to say kore.
Yeah, that's fine.
They'll give you a pass.
That's easier foreign.
Yeah. So just because it's easy to remember kore only.
Yeah. Exactly.
Of course, yeah. Kore onegaishimasu is the best, but
that's very natural, very polite, but I don't bother.
But so actually, just point to the menu and point to the picture of the thing you want. Just say kore, and they'll understand.
Yeah. So kore, you can say kudasai, which is kind of like please, or you can say onegaishimasu, which is like please do it for me. So kore kudasai. But kore is fine.
Yeah. When I first came here, that's what I did. I just said kore.
Yeah.
I think it's a very important word because that's how you get your stuff when you go to a restaurant.
I think back in 2017 when I was first here, it's the same thing. I can read kanji because I can speak Chinese, but the problem is I can't speak Japanese, right? So it's every time I'm in the 7-Eleven or whatever, I'll just say kore. Yeah, save my life.
Yeah, it's one word, and you can get what you want with that word, and that's why it's important.
Yeah, man. Like if you just remember one word, I mean that might be a good word to remember.
Yeah, if you're gonna remember any word, that's the best word to remember.
Yeah, it is easy, right? Kore. That's all.
And you're buying a ticket, you can also say that. You can hold your phone like kore if you're trying to. You know what you want. You have it on your phone. You can show them. It's the best word. You can use it for every situation, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the most important word.
Okay. Then what else? How about eating?
Eating phrases like
yeah.
kore is all you need.
No, but you need to find a restaurant, right?
I think most people use Google Maps.
Ah, that's true. What else? The train. Do people? We can cut this out.
Yeah.
Do people have to ask? I tend to see a lot of travelers stuck at train station. But what would they use?
Why are they stuck?
Yeah, for a variety. Okay, for example, in Hokkaido, right? When I was in Hokkaido, there was this lady I noticed. She was trying to get to Niseko. I think she wanted to do skiing or snowboarding, and she had no idea how to get to Niseko. And the poor JR staff was trying to find out where she was trying to go to. So maybe how can I get to XYZ?
Okay, I think that is too complicated. So probably what the best thing to do is try to find an information desk and use Google Translate as best you can, really, in those situations.
Yeah.
Just type out where you want to go on your phone and use Google Translate. Maybe the information desk has an English speaker. They're supposed to, but sometimes they're not that great at English.
Supposed to, yeah. Heavy emphasis on that. Okay.
Yeah. So they'll know some English, at least, if you go find any information desk.
Yeah.
In a station.
When I was in Sapporo just 2 weeks ago, I remember the information desk. The whole desk was staffed with English speakers. I was surprised. I have not seen that in Kyushu. I've not seen that in here.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So in Sapporo, maybe because Hokkaido is more of a tourist destination.
That's true.
So I was pleasantly surprised that everybody spoke English. But of course, to be honest, I can practice, so I don't mind speaking Japanese to them.
Yeah.
But I was listening. I was just eavesdropping. It's a bad habit. Eavesdropping on the others. They were just talking to the staff in English, and it's fine.
But yeah, typically the more rural the area, the worse the information desk English will be.
Yeah, exactly. So not to put down Kyushu, but Kyushu is not exactly like Tokyo. So English speaking staff in Kyushu might be a little bit limited sometimes.
Like when I lived in Beppu, there was an information desk in Beppu because it's a pretty widespread, like widely known hot spring town. Their English was okay. They could help people, but like you had to talk to them slowly and maybe explain things one or two times.
All the Sapporo ones were fluent, man. They were easily like they can handle basic conversation level for sure. No problem.
That's impressive.
So I was surprised why doesn't Kyushu JR Kyushu they don't have such stuff there. Well.
Yeah, if you're in trouble, I don't think there's much you can do in terms of like one word that will help you. You just have to really just try to use like Google Translate. Yeah, I think that's the best tool.
Google Translate helps a lot, and this is why, as a travel tip, continuing from the last episode, right? So travel tip would definitely be get Wi-Fi or get a SIM card or something that you can use in Japan, right? Because oftentimes Google Translate will save your ass, really.
Yeah, you just need it in order to like travel outside of the main cities. You need it. If you're staying inside the cities, it's totally fine. If you're going to tourist hotspots, I don't think you need it as badly. But once you leave the beaten path, that's when it gets really necessary.
Yeah, man. So, for example, okay, let's just take for example. I kind of like restaurants which are that really appeals to the locals. Meaning, like when you go in, the menus have like Ethan was mentioning, right? The menus have no pictures. It's just tons and tons of kanji everywhere. And it's written on the walls. Have you seen those restaurants before? Yeah. So in that situation, typically foreigners will be like, oh, not my place. It's not where I should go. Then you can kind of use your Google Translate, activate the camera function, and scan the walls, and it should translate the words. Should. So that's where your SIM card and Wi-Fi comes in handy.
Yeah, as long as their cursive's not too crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen really bad. Sometimes I can't read the words. So what else about traveling Japan? Language-wise.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the main words that you'll need. Oh, I think for some people, they cannot use chopsticks.
Okay. So, not really language, but okay, sure.
Well,
you can continue.
How do you get a fork?
Oh, yeah, that's like
the language.
That sounds like a disaster. Okay, yeah.
So there are not everybody uses chopsticks, and it's like a skill, right? If you think about it, chopsticks is a learned skill, using chopsticks. Compared to fork. Fork is just, you stab it.
Stab it, yeah. Barbaric, yes.
Yeah. So I think that some people might struggle using the chopsticks, and there's a lot of places that will only give you chopsticks.
Yeah,
Oftentimes, you can get forks if you just ask.
Really? Oh, sorry. I don't.
You've never needed it.
I'm raised in a Chinese family, so we use chopsticks from young. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like born with it in your hand or something.
But I hold the chopsticks wrongly. If you research on it, there's a specific way to hold it. Yeah.
As long as you can do it.
Yeah, as long as I can pick up food, right?
But yeah, anyway, like Japanese, the word for fork is very similar to English, but they will not understand fork.
Yeah, if you just say, I need a fork, that will probably not end very well.
So you should say, forku.
Actually, I so seldom hear that word. I can't.
It's forku. Forku kudasai.
Like, it kind of drags out.
Yeah, so forku. If you say fork, they will not understand.
Yeah, they might mistake it for you saying a particular bad word.
So you have to kind of mistake it like saying a particular bad word.
Yeah, so you gotta remember to drag out the word fork.
Forku.
Forku. Remember ku, yeah, because Japanese, there's a K, they pronounce the K as ku.
So if you don't say the ku, if you just say ku, they probably will not understand it. It's a high chance.
Oh, I mean, I should try that, man. I've not used that word for ages.
Yeah, I mean, when you just use chopsticks and you're used to chopsticks.
No, but then again, you see, like if let's say you eat something, excuse me, if you eat something like a hamburger, right, which is like a How do you describe a hamburger? It's like a hamburger steak, hamburger.
It's
patty?
hamburger steak.
Oh, okay. It's like a hamburger patty.
It is a hamburger steak.
Oh, okay.
That's the dish in English.
Yeah, okay. So the hamburger, the hamburger patty, right? If you eat something like that, they will typically already give you the fork and spoon to be in. You usually don't eat hamburger with chopsticks, right?
No,
Not really.
probably could, but
Yeah, I don't. So yeah, it depends on what you eat. But what would you need to use a fork for?
sometimes they give me chopsticks when I get chahan, like fried rice from the convenience store.
Shouldn't you be using a spoon?
They didn't give me a spoon.
Oh no, I mean how to say?
You should be using a spoon. So yeah, probably that's another good break.
So spoon, right? Spoon.
Spoon.
Yeah. So I think they kind of
That was
understand.
closer to English.
Yeah, they will understand. No problem.
Fork is also from English, but it's just you have to pronounce it like the Japanese pronunciation, or else it just won't. They won't understand it. You won't be able to convey it.
So the utensils. Yeah, but usually I find that it's not a very big problem. The spoon will come in more handy, I feel.
Yeah, I think because everything's with rice, right? You might want a spoon.
Noodles.
There is a chance that you go to an Italian restaurant and they do give you chopsticks.
For pasta?
Sometimes.
I've never encountered it before.
It can happen.
Really? In Japan?
It's a real thing in Japan.
Okay, I personally have not encountered being given chopsticks for pasta. So typically Italian restaurants in Japan, they kind of have a pride. You know, they have a pride that, hey, this is Western food. So they will offer chopsticks. Not chopsticks, spoons, forks, sorry.
If you go to the right place, you'll get chopsticks instead of fork.
Yeah, so yes, that's where you use it, right?
They give you chopsticks for eating fries. They give you chopsticks.
Really?
Not McDonald's, but other places, yeah. Have you never eaten fries with chopsticks?
No, I use my hand.
Yeah, after you live here a long time, it's like, it's clean.
Wow, okay. I should eat out more, man. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like people eat fries with chopsticks at certain restaurants.
Okay, I've not personally seen that, but
Not
in fast food restaurants, right?
the more fast food, the more American it is, the less it's probably just hands.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But if it's like a bar or izakaya and you get fries, then you'll probably use chopsticks.
Not the one that we usually go to, right? The American bar. He doesn't give chopsticks. Yeah, I mean he's American. Yeah,
Yeah, the more American it is.
Okay, yeah, just something to think of.
But yeah, you don't have to use chopsticks. It's not rude if you use your hands. But for fries, well, I'm just saying that's how common chopsticks can be, even on something like fries.
I would say the most relevant usage for fork would be ramen. I would say, because it's almost I've never seen people use forks in a ramen restaurant before. Never.
Me too.
Yeah, so it might typically be a special request, and I'm not even sure they stock the utensils.
I bet the big ones like Ichiran do.
Okay, so if you are in doubt, right? I mean, you want to try ramen, you have no idea how to use a freaking chopstick. Go for the big chains like Ichiran and Nippuro.
Yeah. Otherwise, local ones will probably not. They probably high chance they use just disposable ones.
Yep.
And so they will not have forks.
And it's kind of janky as well. The disposable one. At least the proper ones, they feel nice to hold.
Yeah. Spoon. I have run into situations where I have fried rice and no spoon. It has happened to me.
Okay.
That was rough. Because usually it was a bento, so I wasn't at the restaurant. So I just gotta eat it like this.
Technically, scooping it in your mouth is not the wrong method. I wouldn't call it a wrong method, but
it's the only way with chopsticks.
It's a bit unglamorous. I wouldn't say barbaric, but it's a bit unglamorous because typically what we do, the podcast listeners, you can't see this, but typically what we do, we cup the bowl in our hands, and I will use the chopstick if I'm eating rice, for example. I'll kind of scoop it into my mouth if it's very wet or non-clumpy, because rice is sometimes clumpy, right?
Yeah.
If it's clumpy, it's easy to grab with the chopsticks. But can you imagine it's wet and the rice kind of disintegrates? Then you have to scoop it into your mouth.
So the problem with fried rice is it's oily, so it doesn't stick together.
Yeah.
And so like when I've gotten that with the chopsticks, I have to like put the bento box next to my mouth and just shovel it. Because I can hold like 2 grains of rice with the chopsticks.
No. So you see, but that's actually a valid way of eating. Just that don't do it on a date. So tips on dating: don't eat chahan don't eat fried rice on dates when you know it's gonna be messy and you don't want rice flying everywhere.
Yeah, if you have it's okay to shovel food into your mouth. Hold the bowl. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I've seen it tons of times.
Maybe a date, it would look a little bit unclean, but
not. Yeah, if it's like a first date, don't do that, man.
Yeah, otherwise it's no problem.
Yeah. So actually, did we cover everything? Just a quick recap.
So we talked about the travel phrases, some very useful ones, and some just kind of generic useful tips that you might need when you come to Japan. Some problems you'd run into and how to avoid those problems using like Google Translate, for example.
Yeah, man. And remember to get your SIM card.
Yeah, you can get a temporary one, and it's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's like $30 max.
Yeah, for like a week or something. Yeah, it's not expensive at all.
The words that we kind of talked about today, number 1 is toilet wa doku desu ka? So where's the toilets, right?
Yeah.
So else?
Toire wa doko desu ka?
And then we have
大丈夫.
Oh yeah. 大丈夫です.
Yeah, so 大丈夫です.
It's okay.
Yeah, for use it as no thanks.
Yeah, kind of. We typically use it for refusing things.
Yeah.
Politely.
And これ this.
Yeah, man. That's the only word that you need to know for a wide variety of situations. Kore.
Yeah, it's so important to know that word.
This. So yeah, that's it for today.
Yeah,
more like
and fork.
Oh yeah. Fork and spoon. Spoon. Yeah.
Spoon. A spoon.
Yeah, man. I have trouble pronouncing sometimes.
Yeah, it's like taking English and breaking.
Yeah, I'm really bad with katakana words. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching and listening wherever you get our podcast. And I hope you check out some of our other podcasts if you missed them, and stay tuned for our next one.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we were already at episode 10, right?
Yeah. Episode 10.
So it's like a mini milestone.
Yeah, we've got 10 episodes out.
Hopefully more to go. Yes. So see y'all next week or next episode.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Chris. See you next time.
See you next time.